Hatsachel twagulapu siʔab Jones titstat Puyallup Tribal. Hello, I am siʔab Jones, and I am from the Puyallup tribe. I'm also Quiyu and Macaw. And this summer I'm working for the language program under the summer youth program. The things that I'm most looking forward to, specifically during the summer, I'm looking forward to getting my level 1 certification from the language program. That's something I've been working at for a very long time. And it's my biggest goal this summer to get my level 1 certification. But as for like more broad in the future, I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is working with all of my friends within the tribe. I can list a couple of names. I'll name drop a couple here. Niley, I'm looking forward to working with Isaiah. I'm looking forward to working with Layla. All future leaders I just listed there, and even like Alexandria Sluiskin and Alexander George. Just a few people that I'm looking forward to working with in these, I guess, upcoming years when they all finish doing what they're going to do. It's actually a funny story. A lot of my inspiration to join the language program was seeing Archie Cantrell do his little thing on them YouTube videos like Lob Douche Whip, Lob Douche Nene, and that Super Mario video. And just like all their YouTube videos. And I was watching them and I was like, yeah, that's something that I think can see myself doing in the future. I had no idea that the language program would make me grow so much and, you know, make me turn into the person I really am today. But yeah, I guess YouTube videos, the language program YouTube videos caught me. But as for how I got into the language program, it was, I'm pretty sure it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I asked my auntie, the aforementioned mentor that told me about the wiw'su. And she called Amber Haywardd, the director of the language program, and said, will you guys take a siʔab Jones? He works very hard. And Amber was like, I don't know. But then they took me. And, you know, look at where we are today. And now the language program is more open. And the reason why I'm sticking with the language program instead of going somewhere else, like with culture or with the historic preservation or even gardening, is, you know, language is something that I'm very passionate about and something that I think is going to be big in the future. I think the ways that we practice sovereignty is, you know, just being alive. There's a lot to be said about just living in your space every day just by being Native American. The way that you act, the way that you carry yourself is all sovereign in a way. And I guess a more, practical answer to that question of how do I practice sovereignty every day, I sing. I don't really dance, but I do dance. I do make regalia. And I speak our tribe's language, Lushootseed. The biggest thing I'm excited for is getting my level 1 certification from the language program. I've been working at that for a very long time, and I never actually came around to actually getting it. So this summer I'm locking in. I guess our 3 biggest teachers, right? And abalek. Be kind, be sharing, and be helpful. And I try to use those as much as I can every single day. I get another teaching, I guess, that kind of fits within that I've been following my whole life is kind of treat everybody with respect, no matter who they are. That's something that I've been following my whole life and will do my very best to follow for the rest of it. At first, I wanted to so when I started working at the language program, I had a big idea of a utopia of Lushootseed, and have people in the offices speaking Lushootseed and have it be essentially the new English. But then I thought, why not more? How come I'm not thinking about more? Because then I was limiting myself to just that one path. So now I think I want to have not just like, I don't know, improve Lushootseed. I want to improve everybody's well-being as a whole. Specifically within the tribe, that is a good starting point. The reason I say that is because Lushootseed is a very, I want to say, humble language. And the way like it gets you to think is very, very different from how greedy English is. Lushootseed is very talk about other people and never myself, where English is very much used for talk about myself and then take and take and take. And just like the difference. So I think it's very important for people to learn another language to be able to think in that way. And that's another reason why I want Lushootseed to be so prevalent. I am a person who is following their dreams day by day. And I want children especially to see that they can follow their dreams no matter how hard it is. I think another teaching that is pretty big is you never call yourself siʔab. Siʔab, and siʔab means honorable person. And I think that's kind of like when I started to understand that Lushootseed is a language that you use to, I guess, raise people up and be very straightforward. Because in English, you can, like, there's no rules, right? I mean, there's not really rules in Lushootseed. Like, you could call yourself siʔab, but it's generally, like, looked down upon. But like I was going to say, in English, you can call yourself, I'm the best person in the world. And I'm going to look down on you because of that. But in Lushootseed, there is really not a way to really say that. So as you can imagine, our ancestors had a very beautiful way of speaking. And one of my mentors, something that stuck with me too, one of my mentors said, "O siʔab wiw'su," that means the honorable children, or our honorable children, or "Oh, honorable children." And that has kind of stuck with me for a very long time. And she said, and I quote, "How beautiful a language is to be honoring your children." And that's kind of where I'm at right now, honoring our children.
Hath slachel twagolapu, Naeli Cruz Garcia Sitsta, Spyala Bobs Quetta Chetta Quinais Ots Tabu. Good day to all of you. My name is Naeli Cruz Garcia. I am Puyallup in Quinault, and I work under the Puyallup Tribal Language Department. I started working for the tribe 4 years ago under the summer youth workforce. My first 2 years, I worked under the Historic Preservation Department. Last year, I worked for the Puyallup Tribal Culture Department, and this year, I work for the Puyallup Tribal Language Department. I felt I wanted to expand my knowledge on the language more. I also hope to really involve myself more in the culture. I feel like this is a good place to kind of get more involvement and more opportunities. My favorite experience has been Canoe Journey last year when I worked under the culture department. I got to speak as a youth MC. Well, when I was an MC, I got many opportunities to speak to other tribes and like their youth, and I feel like that's really got me involved in many communities. I look forward to expanding my knowledge, as I said earlier. In hope of getting my Lushootseed 1 certification as well. Sovereignty means the right to govern ourselves as Native people. Sovereignty is vital to keeping our language, our culture, and our traditions alive. I'm practicing sovereignty every day by speaking our language, dancing our dances, and singing our songs. My favorite song to dance is the Lushootseed composed by Isaiah Kalama. He's Puyallup from Quinault, and that is the Fire Song. Fire Song is mending to the fire. It's a girls and boys dance. So the boys are inside of the circle representing the fire, and there's girls on the outside that are doing, like, they're dancing to the song and they're basically mending to the fire. Any teaching that has been given to me from an elder or a mentor or even like our youth, any teaching that I've been given, I put it to use every day. Whether it's spinning on the floor with a good hutch, with a good mind, with a good heart, or if it's walking in life with your head held high and making sure that you're just living a clean life. I hope to make a difference by inspiring our youth to take on leadership roles, because we're going to be the next generation taking on these leadership roles. I feel we should start that now. I hope to see our youth more involved within our community. There's always room to grow, and by being involved in your community, you can have a lot of growth. Don't be afraid to try. It doesn't hurt trying. If it doesn't work out for you, it doesn't work. But if it does, keep going at it and give it all you have. Just keep going and keep your head held high. One of the obstacles that I face is putting yourself first and prioritizing your well-being, because you need to dedicate some time to yourself. Even if you're on the go 24/7, you're on the go. You need to make time for yourself so you don't drain yourself, don't overwork yourself. For example, what I do is that I go into the water. I take time at the water and I just sit at the water and just let the water heal me. And even like taking food, eating good food, or spending time with your family, just taking time to gather yourself and to really heal your mind.
Haxahel, Togolabu, Korde, Manzanera seats that Puyallup Chet. I am Korde Manzanares. I am Puyallup, and my job title is working in the language department for the summer youth program. I was started on July 9th. My favorite experience so far is probably learning the language and having like hands-on activities. I'm looking forward to seeing how the tribe develops and how, just as like a population, like how we develop, and seeing like opportunities that open up for children our age and stuff like that open up for them. Helping more youth and even elderly people or middle-aged people that are still alive and doing well, like still open opportunities. Just because you're older doesn't mean that you don't have a future. And like getting people off the streets, keeping people more involved with their culture, making sure it doesn't die down and they pass it on. Seeing more cultural development, like seeing more people wanting to participate in like powwows, canoe journey, even if it's working for the tribe. That's all part of their future if they want it to be. And even like reaching out, trying to, because so many people out in the world don't know a lot about natives because not a lot of people talk about it. So my hope is that more people will reach out and they will learn more, get themselves educated on Indigenous people. I struggled with character. I was bullied. I struggled with my character development, and I was bullied throughout school because of my ethnicity. And like people would make fun of me because I would like share that I was dancing and stuff like that. And so I stopped sharing things like that, and I kind of just like hid it all away. And then I tried to fit in with a lot of people, but then like after a while I stopped really caring what people thought because I got older and I matured more, and I'm not embarrassed of it. Learning the language so that I could pass it down to like future generations of kids, native kids, and like letting people know that we're still here and we always will be.
I feel obviously like it's very important that we are passing our language on to our younger generations, because I grew up in a time where we did not hear our ancestral language very much in the community. I was an adult learner of the language. And then since I've begun learning the language, I've had children in my own home, my own children, who've got to experience using and hearing Lushootseed not only in our home, but in our community. So when they're out and about with maybe like the language program staff and all of our families, they're hearing our language and it's very normalized. So they see it in the community, they hear it, they watch it on YouTube. And so when they're at different events, they hear Lushootseed as well. And so it's a really important time, I think, in our lifetime that we get to see something like this, because it's not something that our people had readily available to them. And that obviously goes back farther before I was born. We also have amazing youth right now that over the past 11 years, as we have been working on language revitalization, they've been a part of that. A lot of the children went to Chief Leshai, so they might have been about 8 or 9 years old, and now they get to come and work in our language department as teens. And so what we're seeing is we're getting to create these spaces in our community where our children feel comfortable to speak their language and be able to even go out front in front of crowds of hundreds of people to speak their ancestral language, and to where they feel supported because there are adults that support them and speak the language, and not be ridiculed by it, but get to be proud of speaking Lushootseed in our community. And so it's just really amazing to see all of this come back to where all of these kids are growing up in a time where they've heard Lushootseed now, as far back as they can remember. And they know that it's always been there for them. And so just creating those environments for them to speak it is really, truly amazing. And working on training these youth up so that they can take our place and trying to work ourselves out of a job is always my goal. That you can't just keep having the same people over and over speaking the language, or we want language spoken here at this thing. We need the language program staff. We're trying to make it to where anybody can speak that, our ancestral language, and also training up our youth so that they can do those things for us and eventually be language teachers and language directors, and future tribal council members who will, when they get to that point, they are speaking Lushootseed and having meetings in Lushootseed and doing their speeches and talks in Lushootseed. So just continuing on, and it's just really amazing to see all of this happening in a time where I get to watch it happen.